the Chaocipher. The Chaocipher was invented by John F. Byrne. He was born in Ireland in 1880. He came to New York in 1910 to be a writer. He was encouraged to do this by his close friend, a famous writer named James Joyce. The cipher started as merely an idea, yet it soon became John's sole passion. He said it was simple yet unbreakable. He considered it simple because it only took a small box, the size of a cigar box, a couple of pieces of string, and some odds and ends to make it work. He invented the cipher in 1918, and it took him 35 years to perfect the machine. It was intended for businessmen, religious groups, brotherhoods, and social groups. The encrypted text looked a little bit like this. Inside of the box were two wheels, and they were connected like gears, so when you turned one wheel, they would both turn. On the left disc, the entire alphabet was on it, and it was ordered in a clockwise order. The right disc, the entire alphabet was also on it, and it was ordered in a counterclockwise order, and each letter was on a removable tab. On the left, you can see the picture of the wheels. On the right, you see the picture of the box. When Byrne was first starting to get the cipher out into the public, he offered it to colonels, state departments, and the Navy. None of them would take it. In 1953, he published an autobiography called The Silent Years, and he dedicated it to his close friend, James Joyce. The final pages of the autobiography were encrypted using the Chaocipher. He offered a cash reward to whoever could decrypt the pages. The reward was either $5,000 or the entire royalties from the first 3 months of the book's selling. A few years after the book was published, John Byrne died. The American Cryptogram Association tried to solve the cipher, but failed. They came to the conclusion that the cipher was an auto key, meaning that there was plain text inserted in the encrypted text, so an L would be an L or an F would be an F, depending on how the cipher worked. In the 1970s, the American Cryptogram Association tried contacting Byrne's son, but he wouldn't help them. Finally, after several years of being contacted several times, he decided to give the American Cryptogram Association some hints. "57 long years after the book was published, the cipher was finally broken. It was revealed to Reuben by Patricia Byrne, John Byrne's son's widow. She said that on the left wheel you would pick a letter to start with, for example L, and rotate it to the top. Because the two wheels were connected like gears, the right wheel would also rotate so that L was at the top. So L would translate to L. For every letter after that, you would take the letter to the right of the L on the left wheel and move it to the bottom, so it would rotate to M. And you would switch it with Y. On the right wheel, you would turn it to one letter to the left, so it was on M. Then move the letter 2 letters to the left to the bottom, so O would switch to Z, and so forth for every letter. While we know the basics of how the cipher worked, there are still a few details that are a little gray and some pieces that we are missing to the key. But still, you can see how it was solvable. The reason why none of the colonels, the Navy, the social groups, the religious groups, or any other groups wanted to use the cipher was because John F. Byrne was not a cryptologist. It was not his specialty. It was something that he did for fun. Another reason was because he would refuse to reveal the way that it worked. He wanted people to figure it out for themselves. And unless they were going to use his machine. He wasn't going to tell them, so they didn't know how it would work beforehand. I got my information from wikipedia.org, mountainvistasoft.com, wondasandmarvels.com. My pictures came from bing.com and google.com. Thank you for watching.